Welcome back to the man cave. I wanted to go ahead and do an update on this truck project. So one of the things that we got to do is we've got to build some cross members in this Crown Victoria frame so that we can have our cab mounts in place where they need to be. So what I've done is I've got some rectangular tubing, and this is what I'm going to build my cross members out of. This rectangular tubing is really close to the same size as a 2x4, which allows me to use some lumber in order to establish exactly how I need to build these cross members. On this part, this is where the original cab mounts were on this truck. And so what I am going to do is I'm going to use my rectangular tubing and I'm going to drill some holes in it so that I can mount to the original cab mounts. Now, I took some 2x4s here and I cut this so that I can get, first of all, the length of the tubing that I need, and secondly, the angle of this bend right here, so that when I cut my tubing, I can cut it so that I can bend it here and get this angle properly done and then weld it back up. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to remove these 2x4s and I'm going to lay this out on my rectangular tubing with the holes, the angles, and everything that I need so that I can then cut and bend my tubing, weld it back in place, set it back up in here. So what I will do when I go to install this tubing is I'll have everything set in place. I'll bolt the tubing back up to the cab here, and then I'll come through and I'll spot weld things, and then I'll move everything out of the way so that I can completely weld things up. Here in the front of the truck, I've gone ahead and removed some of this original Crown Vic framing so that I can get set up for a cross member that's going to support my core support for the truck. And now I have cut this piece of rectangular tubing to fit in between these frame rails, and I have drilled some holes where the core support sets that are going to hold my cab mounts. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to come through here and I'm going to start welding this in place and making some pieces to make this fit in place just a little bit better than it currently does. Once I get all of this welded in place, I'll remove the cab and get all my final welding done. We'll put everything back together and I'll come off of this rectangular tubing and I will build the mounts for my front bumper. Thanks for spending a little time with us here in the Man Cave. Appreciate you watching our videos. Please hit the like or subscribe buttons and also leave comments. I will try and respond to your comments, and leave me ideas for videos and I will try and make them happen.